Hi everybody, welcome to the Schultz's house. It's September 17th, 1988, and we're having a little party, cocktails and crates, and we hope you have a wonderful time. Also, have a very healthy, happy New Year. See you soon.
How do we know when it's on?
It's on, Joyce. Hi, Joyce. Hi, Merle. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Joe.
Happy New Year. You are my first two to be interviewed. I'm a little green at this, and I haven't signed my contract with Station JOE yet, so you'll have to bear with me. I've got two questions that I want to ask you, and then I want both of you to answer it the best you can. It's kind of just a fun thing. First question I got is, both of you can answer it yourself. What is your most embarrassing moment that you've ever experienced?
Right now.
This is your most embarrassing moment you've ever experienced? God, I feel terrible.
I'll second that.
You too, Merle? You're embarrassed? Gee willikers,
Not
gosh.
really, not really.
Oh, you can do better than that. This can't be your most embarrassing moment.
I can't think of an embarrassing moment. Can you?
No.
I think Merle's most embarrassing moment was when we got married. He was so nervous.
Very nervous
When?
When we got married?
when we got married.
When he and I...
But that wasn't embarrassing. That was just, you weren't embarrassed, were you?
Well, he's usually so cool.
The
so
ex-policeman
collected.
embarrassed, huh?
Right.
Well, that's the way it goes. All right, let's try another one. In your lifetime, if you could change one thing and do it differently, what would it be? It can be fun or serious, however you want to answer it.
Within our lives.
Yes, within your lives. It can be a fun thing or a serious thing, whatever you feel like saying.
I wouldn't have gotten married the first time, and I would have gone to college. I would have graduated from college. That's serious.
That's serious, that's
Yeah.
right. What about you, Merle?
I'm happy with my life. I don't know that I did anything that I would want to change.
Would you be on the bomb squad again?
Sure.
You do it again?
Love
After you think about it?
Yeah.
Well, listen, you guys, I want you to go have a drink and have a good time, and bye-bye.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, Lou. Hi, Shirley.
Hello.
Welcome. Happy New Year.
Hi,
You're on.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
Well, thank you. I'm going to ask you a couple questions here tonight, and you can answer them fun or serious, however you want to do it. And the first question is, in your lifetime, if you could do one thing different, what would it be? It can be a serious thing, whatever you feel like saying.
I would not have gone to engineering school.
I've heard that one before.
I don't know what I would have done differently. I would have won the lottery
Fantastic.
and retired.
Would you have shared it with everybody you knew? No.
No, but some, selectively.
And the next question I want to ask you is, what is your most embarrassing moment that you can recall?
I still remember it when my zipper stuck open.
Oh, okay, that's
work.
enough. That's enough.
That is
It
embarrassing.
was in the jar.
I've
I
had
couldn't
that
zip my
happen.
pants
I've
up.
got I just went out and taped it up. I used masking
Really
tape.
easy.
What's
Somebody's
wrong with
here.
that? It's fine.
Okay.
What about you, Shirley?
Honestly, I can't think of anything right now. Sorry,
You're gone blank. See,
I've got-
maybe this is your most embarrassing moment right now.
I'm blocking.
Well, listen, thank you very much and have a good time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
God.
Hi, Ann. How are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
I'm going to ask you, I'm sorry that Ed couldn't be here tonight. I understand he's in
I'll
LA,
talk for him.
but you'll talk for him, all right? See, if he had been here, you'd have never got a chance. I'm going to ask you two questions.
Uh-oh.
What is the most embarrassing moment that you can recall?
My mind is blank right now. I can't think of anything.
Are you embarrassed now?
No.
No, your mind is blank. And I'm going to try another one on you.
Okay, go ahead.
In your lifetime, tell me one thing if you could do it differently that you do. It could be a fun thing or a serious thing, whatever you want.
I would have liked to be born in America instead of Poland.
You would have had a little easier life, right?
Although I do not deny my heritage, but I would like to have a different start.
Well, there's nothing the matter with that. That's right. Well, listen, I want you to have a good time, and thank you for the interview. And we'll see this later. Bye-bye. Okay. Well, hi, George. Hi, Sylvia.
Hi!
Well, how are you?
Just fine.
It's nice to have you here.
Well, it's really nice to be here, Joe.
I hope I have you centered, after those fantastic start that you made there, Sylvia. I think you're pretty well centered. What I want to do is ask you 2 questions. First, I want to wish you Happy New Year.
Is it on now?
Yes, it's on. And I want to ask you, George and Sylvia, in your lifetime, if you could change one thing, what would it be? It could be a fun or a serious thing, whatever you want to say. I want to ask each of you.
What we do if we had something to change?
Yeah, if you could change something.
Well, we certainly wouldn't borrow troubles from someone else. I think we would keep our own problems and our own troubles. Others have theirs, and if all our troubles were put into a bag and we could choose someone else's troubles, I think we would pick our own.
Well, all right. You mean what you're trying to tell me is that the other side of the hill is always greener, and it really isn't.
And I don't think it is.
Everybody has their source.
Yeah.
What about you, Sylvia?
Oh gosh, for once in my lifetime, Joe, I'm speechless.
Even imagine your sisterhood president. You're up on the beam.
Oh, that is great. I could really hawk them a good Chinik now, especially years later.
Would you run for president of the United States instead of president of the sisterhood if you had to do it?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
No problem. With the experience I had being branch president and sisterhood president, I think it would be just a cinch.
I'm going to ask you another question here. What is your most embarrassing moment that you can recall, George?
My most embarrassing moment, I don't recall. Perhaps when I was asked to speak, and I indeed was speechless at that time. And to stand in front of people and not be able to grasp a few words
Well, you're doing very well now, George.
is quite embarrassing.
You're standing in
Well,
front
I'm
of
older
station.
now.
You're standing in front of station JOE here.
I'm older now, and
What about you, Sylvia?
Gee, if I told everyone about my embarrassing moment, they would never let me down. They would always talk about it. So I just can't reveal my most embarrassing moment.
What about your next to the most embarrassing moment? I think
I'll tell you
I think
what-
I've struck out here.
I'll tell you my most embarrassing moment.
Okay.
Disappointment.
Oy vey.
I guess it's really Sylvia's disappointment. When we were at Niagara Falls, and she was asked, well, what do you think about the falls? And she answered, well, it's my second most disappointing day.
Very good. Okay, you guys, have a good time, and thanks for the interview.
Well, thank you, Joe. It's been just a delight.
Nice. Hi, Ted and Gloria. How are you?
We're fine, Joe. How are you?
Happy New Year to you.
Yes. What were you going to say, Ted?
I was going to ask you if there's a special occasion.
Oh, yes. Well, the special occasion is I want to ask you a question. Two questions, in fact.
Okay.
And the first question is, in your lifetime, if you could do one thing differently, what would it be? It could be a serious thing or a funny thing. Anything you can recall. See how good your recall is.
You're asking me or she?
Well, I think you should go first, Ted.
Okay, I would do more fishing.
What about
Take
you?
a longer vacation.
What about you there, Gloria?
I might not have gone to have helped Ted for 2 days.
Even it's been more than 2 days?
Right.
Well, she's been there 15 years.
Well, it's 2 days and 15 years. The second question I got is, what is your most embarrassing moment that you can recall? Gloria, why don't you answer first?
Okay. Before we were married, I went to a fraternity rush party on a boat, and we were late. And as we approached, somebody said, "Hi, Gloria," and I looked up high and said hi, and I didn't realize the gangplank had been taken away, and I stepped right into the water.
Seems like you had a problem like that on a boat too, didn't you? Who broke their leg?
That was Ted.
That was
Oh,
Ted.
I broke my leg on a boat. I guess.
Oh, was that what?
I don't know if that's my most embarrassing moment.
But you both had trouble with gangplanks.
Trouble with what?
He's had trouble with gangplanks,
No, I was
motors.
coming down a flight of stairs on a boat and slipped.
So what would be your most embarrassing moment, Ted?
I can't really
Something in
think-
court? Something ever happened to you in court or something? It was embarrassing?
Calling somebody by the wrong name.
No, I do that all the time.
Calling the judge your highness or something? I don't know.
See, I really remember the most embarrassing moment of my life. One of the funniest things that ever happened to me
Good.
had to do with my mother. And my mother's...
I don't think I mentioned it.
See how embarrassing it was, Joe?
Don't mention it.
It sounds like we hit a sore the subject
No, it's
here.
not a sore subject.
Well,
I'll tell
anyway.
you sometime.
Well,
Okay, not on camera is what you're
The
saying.
most embarrassing moment of my life had to be
when I crushed my
I remember that. You were not real proud of that when
I'm
you
not
did that.
real
You
proud
were
of
not
it.
real proud of that.
Yeah.
It wasn't even your motor, right?
It wasn't my motor. It wasn't
My
my
boat.
And
I remember
missed
that.
Rosh Hashanah
I remember
services
that. I remember. And plus, you had a lot of pain and suffering out of that.
Yeah.
Listen, you two. Thanks a lot. Enjoy yourself.
It's a pleasure. And thank you
Okay.
for having us.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Give him the good, my good
I
side.
don't know what
Hi,
that's what I was
Elliot.
going to say.
Hi, Lucy. Welcome. Happy New
you.
Year.
Happy New Year, and thank you for having us.
Well, I'm glad you could get here. And what I want to do is ask you both 2 questions. And the first question I want to ask you, in your lifetime, if you could do something different, what would it be? A serious thing, a funny thing? Why don't you answer first, Lucy? You look like you got the answer.
I'm so contented doing what I've done, Joe. I've done so many different things. A Jewish girl running a Western store. An immigrant from Africa
That's our...
running her own business and having the privilege
In
of
Renton,
being
Washington, right?
and having the privilege of being in this country.
In Renton, Washington, you had, right?
Renton, Washington,
Whoever heard of
wherever.
Renton, Washington?
Wherever, but having the opportunity to do what I want to do. So it's kind of a serious answer, but it's very meaningful because it's very special.
Well, thank you. What about you, Elliot?
Well, I only kid when people say, how did I get into Western business with Lucy? And I said, I'm an authentic Westerner. I come from West 97th Street in Manhattan.
Authentic
By the
Western,
same
7th Street.
token, though, you are in the Western business, but you're also annoying. So you've kind of got two
And
caps.
so if I had a choice, I would have retired at age 21 and gone to work at age 65.
that's. I think that's a good way to do it. I want to ask you one more. What is the most embarrassing moment that you can recall in your life? Elliot, why don't you answer that?
There's so many.
I've never been embarrassed.
You're from New York, I know. You can't embarrass somebody from New York.
I don't do it right.
Walking into the men's John at SeaTac.
You did
that?
that?
was embarrassing.
You did that?
Yeah.
Somebody else told me they walked
Yeah.
in the women's down there. They can't tell the difference between the two.
Yeah, it was very embarrassing, and I walked in there, and I passed by 5 guys with their back towards me, and I ran into the little room and locked myself in and thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? So
What are you doing, Joseph?
I waited until there were...
You're being interviewed for 60 minutes.
I waited till there were 3 flushes, and then I ran like hell.
That is, you want to know something? That is funny. Well,
It was
listen.
very embarrassing.
Thank you for the interview, and have a good time.
Thank you.
Do I own royalties?
Sure.
You got an automatic focus?
Sure. Hi.
Hello.
See, if I remember right, this is Phil and Betty. Hi.
Yeah, it's
A
Phil
minute
and
ago, I
Betty.
thought it was Phil and Shirley.
Happy
Don't
New
laugh.
Year, Phil and Betty.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
Happy New
to
Year,
you.
Joseph.
Manitoba. I'm glad you could be here.
What do you want to know? You want to
Betty
know?
only gets here 2.5 times a week, right?
It all
In the
depends on
morning.
the
In the morning,
pathological
2.5
conditions of the
times a
body.
week.
Whatever question you're going to ask me.
Okay, the first question I want to ask you, you know because you were standing there.
No, I don't. I didn't.
Oh,
hear
I
that.
thought you knew what we were asking. In your lifetime, if you could do one thing differently, what would it be? It can be a funny thing or a serious thing.
One thing in my lifetime.
Yeah, you first, Phil, because you should. I know you were listening. Come
One
on.
thing in my lifetime that I would do differently,
If you could.
if I could, was I wouldn't marry my first wife. I would marry my second wife. How about that?
Well, what about Betty? Is she your 7th wife?
Second.
Oh, she's your second. Oh, you married Betty. Okay. What about you, Betty?
And the
What would you
same,
do?
same goes for her too.
Right,
Oh,
that's
You just got.
I'll
Wait,
give you a right hook to
Phil,
the-
one thing I want you to know in my interviews, there will be no.
No
what do you call it?
coercement?
You
Coercement? Oh, okay.
Violence,
Violence, yeah.
Okay.
Betty, I want you to answer on your own volition.
Well, whatever he says is right.
Okay. I got a second question. What is your most embarrassing moment in your life that you can recall?
Oh my God.
But I've had lots of them.
Betty, give me one. Now, come on, Betty. Tell me the truth, too. I mean, don't tell me you can't think of anything.
Oh, God. I've had lots of them, but what are they?
That was embarrassing. I don't know. You introduced me as the wrong person or something? I don't know. What did you do?
Oh, God, I know there's lots of things. I can't think of it. Go come back to that.
No, that's it. That's your last
That's
question.
our last question?
You can't think of anything embarrassing?
Embarrassing.
Oh, I'm sure there must be millions of things.
You mean you never went to pay for something, you didn't have any money, or you...
Oh, that's not embarrassing.
That's not embarrassing. Well, listen, you guys had your chance. We can only allocate everybody, so many seconds. I want you two to have a good time tonight, and thank you for coming to the
Thank
interview.
Maybe it's because we're so perfect that we've never had an embarrassing
You're
moment.
probably
I don't know.
right.
That's probably there. Anyway, goodbye.
Written down. Where's it written?
I'll have to have another drink before I amplify.
Hello, Fred. Hello, Edie. It's nice to meet you.
Hello, Joseph.
La
How are you?
Shanatoba.
La Shanatoba.
Yeah,
Happy New Year.
Steve at 5.
What is this, 57,
I want you two to step back here because I don't want you to have
kiss
long
my
notes.
wife?
Yeah,
Well,
kiss her.
what
Go.
year is this?
I'd be so
What is this? If Shoshana Tova, 57, 49? Is it?
Yeah, that sounds good. I think it is
What else you want to know about
So
me?
we know
All right, I'm going to ask you two questions.
No, you don't ask me, because I asked you,
Okay,
Joe. How old are you, Joe?
Here's the first question,
here's the
39.
question.
Here's the
Okay.
first question for you. In your lifetime, if you could do one thing differently, what would it be? It can be a serious incident or a funny incident.
I probably would marry somebody else.
I mean, that's not funny.
No, Edie, kick it. Go ahead, kick it, Edie. Here. Where's the God for Edie?
What I would do over again?
Edie, kick
Oh,
it.
you need more time. I need more time. What? Get another kidney?
No, kick it. Get another kidney.
No, what I would do over again? I don't know what I'd do. I would still.
Here's Jerry.
No, Jerry.
Okay, that's right. We'll talk to you later, Jerry.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Jerry, he wants.
Wait, Jerry, go away, Jerry. Goodbye.
I know what I would do,
What
Joe.
would you do?
I'd part my hair on the other side.
Well, that's a I tried that too. All right, I got one other
I
question.
would get married. No, I'm not finished.
Go wait.
Go away.
God, hey, Birches, go away. I'll get you later.
Okay. What I would do different? Let me think. I have to think
That's
for
too
a
big a
moment.
question.
Well, you've answered it.
No, I don't know. I didn't answer.
Yes, you did. You said you married somebody else.
No.
I already got you. Okay.
No,
now-
just man. No, she my wife.
No, I got
Hey,
it.
I have one thing to say.
a comedian.
My wife is a wonderful bed partner.
Yeah. Okay. This is getting serious here. Okay.
She knows sex inside out.
Okay. That's
Outside
good.
in.
That's good.
Either way. We're talking about sex right now. Okay.
Did you get in on the
Goodbye, Bill. Goodbye.
Oh.
We'll get you
He's
later.
going to get him later.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next question?
Okay. The next question.
No, I haven't finished yet.
Edie says you are finished. I'm Tom Brookhoff.
No, you're not finished
Hey,
yet.
I'm losing control of this interview. All right, now, what is your most embarrassing moment, Edie?
Why didn't you mail us these questions so we could come up with decent answers?
You
Or
guys,
thoughtful
you know what?
answers?
You guys are really easy to interview.
You know, I tell you something. I
Are you
wouldn't drink
Jewish?
scotch anymore. I would drink red wine.
Are you
only.
Jewish? Are you Jewish?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm Jewish.
I'm going to ask you. This probably is a waste of time. What is the most embarrassing moment in your life you remember?
The most embarrassing moment in my life I remember.
See,
I
all
was
these
okay
questions you should
when
have
my
mailed to us
wife
next time you
and
mail them to
when
us.
my wife and her sister was going down the Canal de Midi, and they both are laying on top of our barge, without nude, completely nude,
Not
and
completely
the
nude.
fisherman was saying. Was going like this. I guess this was the most embarrassing
Well, why
moment.
would
I
you
don't
be
know.
embarrassed?
Well, yeah. Why would you embarrass? What I
I
understand.
don't know why I'm busy. I don't know.
No, I don't know
what
what
about the most embarrassing. I don't know. I have had many embarrassing moments.
What about you, Edie? We got Fred's most embarrassing moment.
I don't
It sounds like it should have been more embarrassing for you than
I
Fred,
don't
though.
think I've ever been embarrassed. I guess Fred embarrasses me. I don't know, all the time. Nothing isolated into
Now,
a
one
minute.
thing I can't cause any problems in these interviews.
No,
because
they
I
don't
would
have
get
any
deep trouble.
problems.
You know.
No.
Go ahead and ask any question.
That's
you want.
it. You guys have
Oh,
been
that's it?
tremendous,
No,
tremendous
no,
interviewing,
tremendous.
and I want you to have a great time tonight.
So
And
I wanna-
bye bye.
Sure,
Bye
I
bye.
want to answer.
Bye bye. Hi, Larry. Hi, Barbara. How are you?
We're just fine.
Lashana Tova.
Well, thank you very much. I hope you went to services, Joe.
When?
What do you mean? You didn't go to services?
Rosh Hashanah, I went to services, but I haven't been since last. I went last week.
Well, I hope so.
I went on Monday and Tuesday.
I hate to think you didn't.
I was a good boy. No, you don't have to stay all day. You know, it was over at 1 o'clock. This week, you get to stay all day. What I want to do, other than welcome you here and say I'm glad that you could be with us tonight, I want to ask you 2 questions.
All right.
And I'm asking everybody pretty much the same questions, and we're going to look at this afterwards tonight.
Right.
In your lifetime, tell me one thing that if you could do differently that you would do. Larry, why don't you answer first?
You know, that I haven't done?
No, that you would do differently. Something that you had. It could be a funny thing or a serious thing.
That if I had to do over again.
If you could do it over.
Well, I think if I had it to do all over again,